What if I told you that Allah heard your dua the very first time you made it, but answering it immediately would have destroyed you? What if the silence you're scared of right now isn't rejection, but protection? And what if the reason this video found you at this exact moment is because Allah wants you to know something before you give up? Because there is a thought you've been carrying quietly, a thought you don't say out loud, a thought that visits you late at night when no one sees you. Does Allah hear me anymore? There comes a moment in a person's life when they stop crying loudly in dua and start crying silently inside their chest. When the hands still rise, but the heart feels heavier than before. When you still say the words, but part of you no longer expects an answer. Not because you stop believing in Allah, but because you're exhausted from hoping. You remember when dua felt alive, when prayer felt warm, when you believed something would change if you just asked sincerely enough. But now, you've asked so many times that even your tears feel tired. And the silence that follows hurts more than the pain that made you ask in the first place. And that silence messes with your mind. It makes you replay your sins, makes you question your worth, makes you wonder if Allah hears everyone else but you. You start thinking, maybe you waited too long to change. Maybe you're too broken now. Maybe Allah listened before, but not anymore. And the worst part is you feel guilty for even thinking this. Because you're supposed to have faith. You're supposed to trust Allah's plan. You're supposed to be patient. But no one talks about how lonely patience feels when nothing changes. No one talks about how faith can feel heavy when the pain lasts longer than your strength. So you stop asking for big things. You stop asking for miracles. You just want something. A sign. A moment of ease. A small reminder that Allah sees you drowning and hasn't turned away. But the silence continues, and that's when the question becomes dangerous. Does Allah hear me anymore? Listen to me carefully now, because this may be the most important thing you hear today. Allah does not miss a single whisper that leaves a sincere heart. Not one, not ever. Allah does not need volume to hear you. He hears the dua you didn't finish. He hears the cry you swallowed. He hears the prayer you were too tired to make. And when Allah seems silent, it is not because He has stopped listening. It is because He is responding in a way you cannot recognize yet. We were taught that being heard always looks like immediate results. We were taught that if Allah loves you, life becomes easier. But real faith was never about instant comfort. It was about deep trust. And trust is tested most when answers are delayed. When Allah delays, it doesn't mean a no. It means a not yet. It means you don't see what I see. It means I am protecting you from something you would regret begging for later. Think about a seed buried underground. It looks dead, silent, forgotten, but beneath the surface something is happening. Roots are forming, strength is building. And if you dig it up too early, asking why it hasn't grown, you kill it before it ever lives. Your dua is like that seed. Just because you can't see progress doesn't mean Allah isn't working. Some answers need darkness before they can survive the light. And here's something most people are never told. If Allah had stopped hearing you, you would have stopped talking to Him. The fact that you still make dua, even with doubt, even with frustration, even with tears mixed with anger, is proof that Allah still wants you close. Shaitan doesn't waste energy on hearts Allah has abandoned. He attacks the hearts that still matter. The hearts whose duas could change everything. The hearts that are closer to a breakthrough than they realize. Sometimes Allah delays because the version of you who asked is not ready to carry the answer. You asked for ease before strength would you weak. You asked for love, but love at the wrong time would have shattered you. You asked for success, but success without grounding would have pulled you away from Allah forever. So Allah waits, not out of cruelty, but out of mercy. Not because He enjoys your struggle, but because He loves you enough to protect you from yourself. While you count unanswered prayers, Allah counts the disasters He saved you from. The doors He closed that would have ruined you. The people He removed who would have destroyed your heart. The delays that kept you from a life you would have cried to escape later. You see silence, Allah sees safety. And sometimes, this is hard to accept. Allah does not give you what you asked for, because if He did, you would forget Him once the pain ended. So he keeps you close, keeps you dependent, keeps you calling his name in the dark. Because closeness to Allah is worth more than anything you think you're missing right now, even if it doesn't feel like it yet. If Allah truly wasn't listening, you wouldn't feel this ache. You wouldn't feel this guilt when you drift away. You wouldn't feel empty when you skip prayer. You wouldn't feel pulled back after every fall. Indifference is abandonment, not struggle. And you are not indifferent, you are hurting. And Allah is closest to the ones who are hurting. Not the perfect, not the proud, the broken. So the next time you feel like Allah is silent, remember this: silence is not absence. Sometimes it's depth. Sometimes Allah quiets the noise of life so you can hear what He's trying to teach you. Sometimes He slows everything down. Because if life kept moving fast, you'd never stop long enough to be saved. Sometimes Allah answers your dua by changing you before changing your situation. One day, and this day will come, you will look back at this version of yourself. The tired one, the doubting one, the one who almost gave up. And you will realize Allah never ignored you for a single second. He was shaping you, strengthening you, preparing you for something you couldn't handle back then. And on that day, you won't ask, does Allah hear me anymore? Because you'll know the truth. And why? He heard every word, every tear, every silent scream, even the ones you didn't know how to say. And if you're still here, still listening, still breathing through the pain, understand this clearly: Allah's not done with you yet.